Hello people, this is Monish back again with another video, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I quit smoking and so can you, and I'm going to share my 5 top tips with you on how to quit smoking. But before I move on, let me quickly take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the tremendous support that you have given to my channel, for your subscriptions, for liking my videos, sharing my videos and sharing your comments with me. I just wanted to quickly say that your support means a lot to me and your encouragement is much appreciated. So on to the topic of the video today, and it is how I quit smoking and so can you, and I'm going to share my 5 top tips with you on how to quit smoking. Like always, you have to establish the why you want to quit smoking, and maybe address why you started smoking in the first place. And I'm sure everyone will have their own reasons, but let me quickly share my reasons on when and why I decided to quit smoking. So the first thing was the humiliation. Yes, it was very painful. I was smoking primarily because I felt so much stress. I felt under a lot of pressure, and that is why I kept smoking. But it did not help, and what came with that was the humiliation. Why? Because I was now labeled the black sheep. Every Tom, Dick and Harry who is nothing but a burden on this earth, has never done anything good in this life, could turn around, look at me and hold a higher moral ground. Why? Because I was smoking and they were not. And the insults that were so hurtful. It was downright humiliating to have these people point their fingers at me and claim to be better men than I was, just because they were not smoking and I was. The second thing was I wanted to save money, and I soon realized that a lot of my cash was going towards buying cigarettes, and it was a major hurdle in achieving the financial prosperity that I wanted to achieve for myself. So I have certain financial responsibilities that I'm literally scared of, and I had to do something to save more money and invest more money, and therefore the financial impact for me was kind of a last straw on the camel's back, along with the humiliation and the insults. So I decided to somehow quit smoking and started on this journey. And I'm going to share my learnings with you, my 5 top tips on how to quit smoking based on my experience. So the number 1 tip is to be honest with yourself. Realize that it's a weakness. Don't be in denial. In fact, make it your strategy. Once you realize that smoking is a habit, is a weakness, it really means that you have to now become stronger mentally, mind, body and soul. If this is a weakness and you can become a stronger person, then you can beat it. So first things first, realize that smoking is a weakness. Don't be in denial. It's no longer cool. In fact, if anything, it's considered to be dumb to be smoking nowadays, right? So once again, realize that smoking is a weakness and you can beat it by becoming a stronger, better person. So how do you do that? And one thing that I started doing was, again, mind, body, and soul. I started to meditate. Every day for half an hour, I started to chant mantras. And what happened was that I became more aware. I started with the idea of becoming mentally strong and spiritually strong, and that is why I wanted to meditate and chant mantras. But as I did that, as I continued to do that, I realized that I was becoming more aware of my surroundings. I was becoming more aware of my feelings, how my mind worked, and what were the triggers when I reached for a cigarette. How many times was I smoking? Under what conditions was I smoking? When were my cravings really unbearable? And when I did not feel like, having a smoke. So what happened was that I think I became mentally stronger, spiritually stronger for sure. And as I became more aware of my feelings and my thought process, I was able to identify the gaps in the time when I wanted to reach for a cigarette and not reach for a cigarette, and also thereby understand when and how and why was I craving for a smoke, and gain a better understanding of if this is, or under these circumstances I was craving for a cigarette, maybe I could do something to change these circumstances, or do something to change the way how I felt. The other thing that I did was I exercised. I did a lot of gymming, I did a lot of jogging, and I even took up yoga. The idea again was to become stronger mentally and physically. So as I continued to exercise, I think at the back of my mind, subconsciously, I was trying to increase my threshold for pain. I could run longer, I could lift more weights, I could endure more, I could endure more pain, and I kept improving, I kept becoming stronger, I kept increasing my threshold for pain, hoping that when it becomes unbearable that I just have to have a cigarette now. Maybe all this training will help me endure and not reach for that cigarette. So along with the mental meditation, I started with my body exercising. The third thing that I did was or rather the fourth thing that I did was I started eating healthy. What I wanted to do was I wanted to isolate smoking as the only weakness that I had to work upon. I didn't want to have my cravings for sugar, I didn't want to have my addictions to junk food, to anything, so that I could focus my energy and my strength on smoking only. And by taking care of these other cravings, again build that momentum and that energy and that understanding to that will eventually lead me to quit smoking. So what I did was I started eating healthy vegetables, juices that I made myself, not that come in packaged food, in packets. And what I essentially did was I subdued my other cravings, so that I could isolate my cravings for the smoke. So I started by realizing it's a weakness and I had to become strong. I started meditating so that I could become mentally and spiritually stronger. I started exercising so that I could increase the threshold for my pain. And fourth, I started eating healthy, eliminated sugars, junk food, everything, so that I could, isolate my addiction for smoking. And the final fifth tip was I started tracking the financial impact. And if you've been smoking as I have been smoking, and I've been a chain smoker for a number of years, you know what I mean when I talk about the financial impact. It's huge. It is huge, guys. Every year with the onset of the budget, every chain smoker in the world anticipates the price of the cigarettes to go up. When I started smoking, the cigarette packet, it used to cost $1. Now it costs about $6. And I'm so thankful that I put it behind me now and I don't have to buy cigarettes anymore. It's just such a blessing. But you need to track this financial impact. So what's going to happen is, if you, let's suppose, download a budgeting app, or even on an Excel sheet, or even on a piece of paper, you start writing the cost that you incur in smoking cigarettes. It's going to be mind-boggling. It's actually going to make you hate yourself for picking up another cigarette and smoke another one. It's really bad, guys. If you were to calculate the amount of money that you would have been able to save if you were not smoking, and if you were able to invest that money, I think many of us would have been millionaires by now and would not have been doing menial jobs anymore. Okay, so in the end, just a wrap up and a summarizing of how I quit smoking, and so can you. Establish the why. For me, it was the humiliation and the financial impact. For you, it could be something else. Maybe it's the same. I just shared these with you, hoping that it will help you understand where I was coming from. Once you have established the why, then it's about realizing that it's a weakness, and we now need to become stronger. Once you've realized it's a weakness, let's become stronger mentally, and let's start to meditate. Chant mantras. Thirdly, exercise, so that you can increase your threshold for pain, so that you can endure. Fourthly, you need to eat healthy, so that you can subdue your other cravings and you can isolate your addiction to smoking and focus all your energies on that. And lastly, when you track your financial impact, oh my God, it's gonna tip you over. It's probably gonna be the last straw on the camel's back, as it was for me. So guys, that was my spiel about how I quit smoking, and so can you. My 5 top tips on how to quit smoking. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for your continued support. As always, please do subscribe to my channel and like my videos, and in the comment section down below, let me know what you think.